Underground, and this video is about why Backbreaker 2 is possible. A lot of people out there, I think their impressions of Natural Motion and Backbreaker is that Backbreaker is their only means of revenue, which meaning that the only way that they're making money is off of Backbreaker, and that's it. If you do know, Euphoria or morphine, the physics technology that is used in Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto, Star Wars, The Force Unleashed, and there might be another title that I'm forgetting besides Backbreaker. But that engine is sold to companies, that software is sold to companies, and they purchase it. Now I don't know, hypothetically speaking, I would think that it would be expensive because of the kind of technology that it is, and it takes a while to probably develop that. But let me get into the video real quick, and there's just some key points I'm going to show you. I put the link to the actual video in this in the description, so you can go check it out if you want. But this is Torsten Real. I apologize if I got his name wrong, but he's the CEO of Natural Motion, and right now we're going to go to the part where he's talking about canned animation.
I'm going to talk about a technology that we're developing at Oxford now that we think is going to change the world, called Grand Theft Auto 3. We already saw that briefly yesterday, and what you can see is it is actually a very good game. It's one of the most successful games of all times, but what you'll see is that all the animations in this game are very repetitive. They pretty much look the same. I've made him run into a wall here over and over again. And you can see it looks always the same. The reason for that is that these characters are actually not real characters. They are a graphical visualization of a character. To produce these animations, an animator at a studio has to anticipate what's going to happen in the actual game, and then has to animate that.
Alright, let me stop it right there. So what he said is, if you have animations, then the script writers or the developers have to say what's going to happen in a given situation. Now, how does that apply to football and Madden? In Madden, that means you have to basically script animations, or any football game, because 2K had the same thing. In any game that has animations, you have to script those things. That's why we say Backbreaker has unscripted gameplay. But you have to script the animations to say what's going to happen in a given situation. That's why you can't really have double hit tackles, because they haven't scripted double hit tackles in the game. Alright, let's keep moving.
Particular sequence. So he or she sits down, animates it, and tries to anticipate what's going to happen, and then these particular animations are just played back at appropriate times in the computer game. Now, the result of that is that you can't have real interactivity. All you have is animations that are played back at more or less the appropriate times. It also means that games aren't really going to be as surprising as they could be, because you only get out of it, at least in terms of the character, what you actually put into it. There's no real emergence there. And thirdly, as I said, most of the animations look very repetitive because of that. Now,
okay, now let's go ahead to another point to where he talks about generations. And a generation in a game, or I guess technology, especially their technology, is you have to build something from the ground up, and then the different generations take you through stages until that generation or the model is ready for the actual game. So we'll take a look at that right now. Hold on just a second, let me find it. 42. Alright, here we go.
So it was back to the drawing board for us. We did get it to work eventually, after tweaking bits here and there. And this is an example of a successful evolutionary run. So what you'll see in a moment is a very simple biped that's learning how to walk using artificial evolution. At the beginning, it can't walk at all, but it'll get better and better over time.
Alright, before we start to look at these generations, let's just say this. Let's just say Backbreaker, the first Backbreaker that's out, is generation 0. And let's just say they need to get generation number 5 to where we get some of the interactions that we're looking for with players having weight, to where gravity is respected, weight is respected. So think about that. But here we go.
So this is the one that can't walk at all. Now, after 5 generations of applying an evolutionary process, the genetic algorithm is getting a tiny bit better.
You hear the people in the background laughing, those like people, Madden fans laughing at Backbreaker.
Generation 10, and it'll take a few steps more. Still not quite there. But now after generation 20, it actually walks in a straight line without falling over.
Nobody's laughing now.
That was the real breakthrough for us. It was academically quite a challenging project, and once we had reached that stage, we were quite confident that we could try and do other things as well with this approach, actually simulating the body and simulating that part of the nervous system that controls it. Now, at this stage...
Alright, so you hear that they simulate the body, and that's the reason you see some of the things that you do in Backbreaker. But do you realize how revolutionary that is? You simulating a body. It's not 3D animations, not canned, anything that's canned. It's something that's put in and is on the fly, real live action. And I think I'm going to the part to where he's going to talk about sports games. But let's see.
To predict the outcome of operations on these children. As you probably know, which are going to become much more interactive. But I particularly am really excited about using this technology in online worlds, like there, for example. That's powerful.
Sorry about that.
We are ourselves surprised when you actually get, which are going to become much more interactive. But I particularly am really excited actually for some major productions. The second thing is video games. With this technology, video games will look different and they will feel very different. For the first time, you'll have actors that really feel very interactive, that have a real body that really react. I think that's going to be incredibly exciting. It's probably starting with sports games, which are going to become much more interactive.
So he goes on in the video, and it's 18 minutes long, so if you want to look at it, you can. But he goes on in the video talking about how other companies have approached them, and they want to use the software for movies. Surgeons want to use it to study effects of cerebral palsy on kids. So they have means of revenue, of getting money. Backbreaker is not the only way that this company will get money. So they don't really have to put out a Backbreaker 2, but they will have the means, hypothetically speaking. You know, that's if they choose to use that money that they get from licensing off their software to other companies and different avenues. So if they want to put out a Backbreaker 2, just think about that. So Backbreaker is not the only means of getting money. And then on top of that, as the generations progress for the actual game, we'll see better behaviors for Backbreaker. So that's why Backbreaker 2 is possible. And laugh it up now, but might not be laughing. So